Hey guys, Jared here from Deere Country Farm and Lawn, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 3000 series compact tractors from John Deere. We're going to be looking at the major components that make these tractors different from each other, from the D series to the E series to the R series. Let's get started. All right guys, so we're going to start here first. We're going to be looking at the D and E series. Reason we're going to start here is because these two tractors are very comparable to each other. They're not 100% spec for spec, but they are very close with some key differences in between them. So the D series first, on this model in particular, you're going to be looking at engine horsepowers ranging from 25 to 43. PTO horsepower is anywhere from 20 to about 36. On the E series right here, you're going to be looking at engine horsepower ranging from 25 up to about 38. That's going to be PTO horsepower of about 17 to about 30. These models themselves are loader 3-point rear PTO workhorses. So they're not designed to have a lot of frills, a lot of features that you would find on something like the R series. They will be no mid PTOs on these models. You will have no cab options on these models. They're a basic loader 3-point work machine. Speaking of loader, they do share both between them. The 300E loader, that will be available in a non-self-leveling as well as mechanical self-leveling. That's going to give you lifting capacities anywhere from that 850 to about 1200, 1300 weight capacity for your lifting on that. So let's hit some of the key differences here when it comes to the machines themselves. So the D series itself, one of the major components that you're going to find different with it is going to be a gear drive transmission. You will have what they call an 8 forward, 8 reverse synchro mesh style transmission. You do have a range selector with your A and B range right here, as well as your gear shifter on the other side there with your 4 gears. Your forward reverse is up here on your steering column area. That'll be your directional changes. That is not going to be like a power reverser style transmission where you're able to just flip it in reverse. This is the style transmission that you will be stopping and clutching in between that. The E series, of course, is something that you see more commonly on compact tractors today. That is going to be a hydrostatic transmission. It is a 2-range, so you do have a high-low range as well as your forward and reverse pedals. Some of the other little differences that you're going to see between these machines, first, the E series is going to be what they call an independent PTO. So in order to engage your rear PTO, it is an on-the-go. It is a live PTO. It's just flipping the switch and it will come on, whereas the D series is going to be a mechanical style. You will have to stop, push the clutch in, and push the PTO lever in order to engage the PTO on them. Another key differences too that I do find on these two different tractors is the D series has a split part brake system, whereas the E series does not have a split part brake system. Something that the D series has that I wish that the E series did have. You know, we might see that eventually there in the future. So let's take a look at the rear end of these tractors. This is where you're going to see a lot of the differences between the two different models when it comes to your specs. So with the gear drive system on these different models, we'll start off with the D series first. That gear drive is going to give you a towing capacity of about 1850 versus the E series of about 2200 pounds when it comes to your towing. 3-point styles. They both will be category 1 3-point. On something like the D series, you are going to be looking at 24 inches behind the link arms, lift capacity of about 2100 pounds. Versus on the E series, a little bit lighter, you're going to be looking at about 1350 roughly for your 3-point lift capacity. And you can take a look at that on the E series over here. You can see some of the differences when it comes to that. That also does change your axle capacities on these models. The D series, yes, will have a heavier rear axle capacity than something like the D series will have a heavier axle capacity than something like the E series. All right, so let's quickly talk about price here. The D series, you're going to see a list price starting off somewhere around that $21,000 range up to about that $29,000 range. That's just for base tractor itself. The E series, you're going to be looking at a little bit more expensive due to probably the hydrostatic transmission. You're going to be looking at a starting price of that around 23 up to about that 29 range as well. Let's take a look at the R series and talk about some of the differences on that model in particular. All right, guys, so I'm standing next to a 3R series here. Now, this is going to be the largest frame tractor in the 3000 series family. It is going to be the tractor that does offer all the features as well. On the 3R series, you're going to have horsepower ratings that range from 33 engine horsepower up to about 46 engine horsepower. The loader options on this machine, you're going to have two compared to the single 300E loader that's available on the D&E series. So you will have a 300R loader as well as a 320R loader. They will offer you up to about 1,600 pounds lift capacity at full height with different specifications in between. This model right here also is going to offer you all the specifications or all the options, unlike something like the D&E series. So on this model right here, on the R series, you will get a mid PTO as well. That is optional, so you can do things like a belly mower as well as a front snow blower. That is at 2100 mid PTO, and you still get that standard rear 540 PTO. As you can see specifically on this one right here, cab is an option on these models. So you can have a full HVAC cab, and if you want to take a look inside, this one is equipped with an air ride suspension seat. That is another big feature of the R series. If you are interested in a cab model, this is the series that you will be looking at. Two different style transmissions available on these models. This model right here has the hydrostatic 3-range transmission on it. The E series over there only had a high and low. This does have a B, and C, so you do have that mid-range in there as well. It does also have a 12-12 power reverser transmission available on it. That does allow you to do forward and reverse direction changes clutchlessly. Plus allows you more independent speeds in between there compared to something like the D series, which is a more basic 8/8 transmission. Let's take a look here at the rear of the tractor itself. You still will get a Category 1 3-point on this. Since it is a larger tractor, it does have a larger capability. You are looking at around 2,200 pounds for that. You also have a larger hydraulic pump on this tractor. You have just a little over 15 gallons per minute, whereas on the D&E series, you're just shy actually of about 9 gallons per minute. So this tractor right here will have more hydraulic capabilities than something like the D and E series themselves. Overall, this tractor itself, like I said, is the largest one. It does have all the options available on it. There is a lot more that goes into this tractor, but we could sit here for about an hour in this video going over all the details. Main things, differences, like I said, is the cab, the mid PTO, the larger capacity when it comes to 3-point loader work and horsepower. Price range. For a larger tractor with more features and more options available, of course, you will be paying a little bit more for it. These tractors list price without the cab and without the loader, you're going to be around that 31 to 39 range, give or take on what horsepower level you are looking at, whether it's that 33 or that 46. This is the tractor that gives you everything compared to something like the D&E series. They're, like I said, loader 3-point workhorses. This gives you a lot of the comfort features as well as tech features compared to those. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap up our quick overview real quick of the 3000 series compact tractors from John Deere, the D series, the E series, and the R series, some of the differences between the different models. We could go spec for spec on each one, but that would be a 2-3 hour long video really diving into all that. So kind of keeping it pretty basic here, remembering that the D series is a smaller frame gear drive transmission. The E series shares a lot of the same specifications, but is hydrostatic. And the R series is the top spec level, giving you all the options available to you on these models. I hope you found this information helpful. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to our channel. As always, we will be putting more videos out here at Deere Country Farm and Lawn.